naira, if I'm not mistaken. Now the naira appreciated, by 61 naira against the dollar after weeks of decline. Okay, so we saw that one, yeah. And then of course, just yesterday, the stalemate, that happened between the federal government and the organized labor is another heat, I must say. But then the heat is still brewing, and heat is still going on, and maybe that's why nature and the heavens have decided to pour down a rain, just a shower, to douse the tension. But then, just before I begin with my discourse this morning, I'd like to bring about some very, very powerful quotes. The welfare of the people is the highest law. Marcus Tullius Sarah's got that one to say. Government's first responsibility is to protect the people, not just the powerful and privileged. William J. Clinton said that. Now, the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. Franklin D. Roosevelt has got that to say. The greatest wealth is to leave content with little. All right, and Plato actually said that, and this is aligning with a conversation that will be sparking, just in a few seconds, which aligns with the idea of seeking improved living conditions and not just wealth. And of course, the most important thing in life is to stop saying "I wish" and start saying "I will." David J. Squatts has got that to say, and that would also align with the idea of taking action to improve the living conditions as we see it in our dear country. And that brings us to a topical issue where Nigerians demanding better living standards, and that is just what it is. Look, if you look at all of these struggles, all of these conversation that has ensued, in the country, here and there, all Nigerians are asking is, look, we demand, it's constitutionally right for us to demand a better living standard. And the rejection of the federal government's proposed minimum wage by the labor unions has sparked national debate on the living standards of Nigerian workers. So the government's proposal, deemed inadequate by labor leaders, has raised some questions about the administration's commitment to addressing the country's economic and social challenges. Well, as the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is approaching its 1-year anniversary, Nigerians are somewhat increasingly concerned. We are concerned about the effectiveness of its policies in addressing the nation's pressing issues. Yeah, and this by this I'm trying to say that, look, we want to explore into the critical, human angle concerns and questions that we are asking, that you are asking right there, and we should highlight some expectations and implications of the government's action, right? Just recently, we've seen what went down with the federal government and the organized labor in terms of what the minimum wage should be, and they've pegged it out at 48,000 naira, and that is indeed causing some sort of reactions already, right? As quite a number of us have continued to kick against it. It's not just the organized labor. All the organized labor had said that this is an insult to the sensibilities of the Nigerian people, especially those for whom they speak. And that has just been it. It's not just the labor that is also saying that. Quite a number of well-meaning Nigerians, who understand the pains of what it means, to go through life, pegged at 30,000 naira minimum wage, are also sharing in these thoughts. Well, my guest would be none other but Dr. Austin Maho, right? Dr. Austin Maho is my guest, and he's going to be adding his voice, to the discourse this morning. And you might want to ask the question of who exactly is Dr. Austin Maho? Dr. Austin Maho is a lecturer and public affairs commentator, publisher Daybreak Nigeria newspaper, right? So we would be getting him on board in a short bit as he also, adds his voice to the matter in discourse this morning, right? It is just exactly what we would be talking about just this morning, right? So there are so many concerns, right, about Nigeria's welfare. I mean, we've seen the tug of war, the tussle that has been ongoing between the Nigeria Labour Congress, the TUC as well, with the federal government regarding what the wage or labor wage should be, which the president had promised from inception of his administration, that he would ensure that we have a living wage and not just a minimum wage. Well, Dr. Austin Maho is already here. Welcome aboard, Doctor.
Yeah, good morning, Daniel.
Yes, good morning to you. Trust you had a good day. Yeah? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's no news anymore. 48,000 naira is what has been proposed to the organized labor, and that meeting reached a stalemate. And as some dailies would put it, they said there was a breakup, more like a relationship breakup between the federal government and the organized labor. Organized labor, of course, talking about the NLC and the TUC, looking at the 615,000 naira, and so far they've given the government 2 weeks, to look into it and announce a minimum wage or reach a minimum wage that is workable for the Nigerian workers right there. And we've also seen, one of the clerics, come out to saying that 1 year is not enough. It's not enough time to want to adjudge or to want to assess the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Well, I don't know what your thoughts would be regarding all of this.
Yeah. Interesting. This is quite an interesting topic,
right.
To look at the minimum wage debate,
Mm-hmm.
and the theory that is saying that 1 year is not enough to assess the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. I think he's just being clever by half. If you want to toe the line of the government, should go ahead and shouldn't tell us that 1 year is not enough to assess the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Whatever the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is going through today, the government brought it upon itself. So, as citizens and as those directly impacted by government policies, especially Nigerian workers, it is our duty to comment on the sufferings, the hardship, the hunger that the average Nigerian has been subjected to as a result of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu, administration's policy,
Right.
which are anti-people, which has caused the present agitation by Nigerian workers for a wage review, although it is long overdue. The heightened agitation is as a result of government policy which have made nonsense of the existing 30,000 minimum wage. We all live in Nigeria, and we saw the statistics, put out there by the National Bureau of Statistics yesterday, which put at the inflation at a 28 years high at over 33%.
Yep.
And a major component of that inflationary trend is food inflation. Inflation. Can you imagine that as at the time the current minimum wage was approved, a bag of rice was about 7,000. Now you cannot even buy a bag of rice, even a half bag of rice, with the current or existing minimum wage. And what government is even proposing, 48,000, which to me is ridiculous, and seem as if those in government, they are not in tune with the reality, the daily reality and average Nigerian worker is subjected to. And like I always say, there's this caveat as a result of government policy on energy and the naira. Those two policies is what has thrown the economy of this country into the current problem we are all suffering, which, has resulted in the upward swing in inflation, unprecedented. So government need to be realistic in determining a new minimum wage. You cannot, the question can be asked, since the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration came into power about a year ago, what has the government really done for the average Nigerian worker? Look out there. What has it done? What promises has the government made to the average Nigerian worker that it has fulfilled? None. When it was time to remove subsidy, it was a major policy pronouncement which the government didn't hesitate to make. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu made it on his inauguration day, without setting up any committee, without getting into office first to look at the situation, to study the situation. He came with a mindset to come and remove subsidy, and he didn't bat an eyelid when he was doing that. That is one. Two, few weeks after that, you floated the naira without constituting a committee, even without having an economic team in place. You floated the naira. And those twin policies are what we are talking about, and that is what has led to the agitation by the Nigerian workers. And when it now came to addressing the critical problem of minimum wage, you set up a minimum wage committee, and that committee has been sitting endlessly without coming.
All right. Yeah. Are you there?
And acceptable minimum wage, and coming with a meager 48,000 as the new minimum wage for the Nigerian worker, which is absolutely ridiculous and not reflective of the economic reality that Nigerian workers are going through.
All right then. Let's open the phone lines. I mean, this is not something we should, just leave at bay. Let Nigerians also have the course to have their reactions to what ensued yesterday between the organized labor and the federal government, and to also let us know if indeed the 1 year mark would not be enough to assess the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Well, number to call is 0907-353-0044. The other number is 0908-766-8888. The WhatsApp portal number. Send a voice note, WhatsApp message to it, and send a text message. Send a WhatsApp message to as well, and we will take that message. Would be 0909-705 4450, right? 0909-705-4450. Okay, so I see this call. Please don't call the WhatsApp portal number, and let's keep it short and simple. Don't attack personality, go straight to the point. Hello, good morning. Hello? All right, that's a miss though. We'll try to take yet another call. I think the weather is playing a fast one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, please.
Yeah, my name is Mohazu, calling from Gwarimpa.
All right, Mohazu, all the way from Gwarimpa. Feels good.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, gentlemen in the studio.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I heard the topic, and the topic is quite interesting.
Right.
But what really going in this country, indeed, is a very vast one. Because looking at the economic situation in Nigeria, this present dispensation has destroyed this economy literally. Common man is suffering. In fact, the minimum wage that they are talking about, 48,000 naira, will not be even sustained to even reach 2 weeks for a civil servant. Now look at the price of everything in the market. It's always skyrocketing. And indeed, government is not doing anything. What they are just planning for their selfish interest for themselves. So I see no reason why, as if to say the authorities, like we don't have government in Nigeria, because majority of the common man are just suffering. You are suffering, and other states are not even collecting less than this. As a graduate, maybe you start with level 8 now. 8 step 1, you are collecting less than 48 in some states in Nigeria. How could a common man live in Nigeria? But let them know that God is watching everything. What they are doing in this country is totally out of context, to be candid.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too, my brother. I mean, what's going on in the country is just out of it, he says. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, BB.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, BB.
BB bless you, calling you.
All right.
I greet the guests. I greet you very well. But you already say what I'm supposed to say. I want to ask our president and Kuka will come out to now. I think during the time of President Muhammad Buhari, he says our Messiah, he can change Nigeria for us. See, I want to ask now, never father now he be. He's supposed to know where this government is carrying us to, not be to tell, say, may we know hurry our president says, may he do something. You know, say, some people, some man will go, when the favorite day, please, I know it's not anybody, when the favorite day, you know one man another person, they know one man another person carry his due come out. That's why he will come out tonight and say, may we know hurry president. I want to ask our Reverend Father, the time where president says subsidy is gone, he'll invite him to tell us, say, may no quick revive the subsidy is gone. Why are we like this?
All right.
How many of you would they do for church now? And how would they do before?
All right, BB.
Even though the minimum wage is set, he cannot buy bag of rice.
Yeah.
That president to do the needful, because when he come out there tomorrow, now they say, forgive me, now he go still say, I'm begging, please.
All right, BB. Thank you so much, BB. Blessing right there. Well, the conversation is still going on right here in the studio. Just before I align with my guest, let us get back to just this call and then we get talking. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Yudi.
Yes, good morning to you.
It's a very wet morning.
Okay.
I greet you. There's Abubakar calling from Gwagwalada.
All right, Abubakar, welcome aboard. Let's go straight to it.
It's ridiculous. Just the way your guest say it. We don't have much resources to pay adequately for our workers' wages, but we have enough to be stealing, looted by greedy public office holders. It is ridiculous. This injustice will not be sustainable. Injustice never endure in the life of any nation. They should be afraid of the day when the poor people of Nigeria will take to the streets. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that one. Dr. Austin, well, you've heard Nigerians already talking about these issues, and they've raised quite a number of concerns. In fact, some of the concerns would also border around the fact that adding to some of them would be the fact that, look, we are still going through a pathway where we are calling on for, accountability, where many Nigerians are frustrated with the persistence of corruption and a lack of accountability in government, right? And there are also places where there are concerns that Nigerians are worried about, the state of healthcare system, including the inadequate facilities, equipment, and personnel, and all of that. And just recently, the education sector, as well as talking about ASU threatening the federal government and saying that they would also go on a strike, right? As their governing councils have not been reinstituted and all of that. And it just makes us to want to think about whether or not the pains of Nigerians are being felt, just as quite a number of Nigerians are saying. Well, you asked the question about what the Tinubu administration has been able to put together to ensuring that the workers are okay. Well, one of it would be some of them would be more about increasing the minimum wage. Yeah, talks about that going on from living wage for workers in 2024. He also promised, in fact, there's been more promises, though, promising to reduce the unemployment rate through budgetary reforms, encouraging light industry and all of that to work with National Assembly to create omnibus jobs and prosperity bills, promoting manufacturing and all of that. There's been promises, though. And he had also talked about better working conditions create jobs in the digital economy, and finally fair wages. These has been, put out there, but they are basically promises. How do you react to all of these?
Yeah, you said it. It's a government of promises. But the promises the government is making, the government has come short, in most of his promises. Because at the end of the day, any administration that cares about the people should make the welfare of the people central to his administration. In fact, it is the reason why we have government. It's a constitutional provision that the welfare of the people is the primary aim of government. In fact, government should not exist if that government does not exist in the interest of the people. So you ask the question now, has the government of the day, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, has it centralized the welfare of the Nigerian worker, the Nigerian people, as a cardinal objective of his administration? The answer is no. And anybody saying that 1 year is not enough for us to do an assessment of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is not being truthful. It's deceptive. We should. The administration has 4 years in office. If it has done 1 year, it has done a quarter of its lifespan in government. We're not talking about 100 days in office. We are talking about 12 calendar months. So we should be able to assess the federal government and look at the way the policies and programs it has put in place and how it affects the people. And where the government is falling short is the duty of Nigerians, the citizens, to cry out. We cannot go on living on promises. It's not an election period. The government is not campaigning for office. The government is in office. It should put the right policies and programs in place that directly affect the welfare of Nigerian citizens. All the policies and programs that the government has rushed to implement are anti-people policies.
Okay.
And the palliative measures the government need to put in place to address, the harsh economic realities that Nigerians are facing, the government has failed abysmally to put those policies in place. And that is what we are talking about. Offering a 48,000 minimum wage to Nigerian worker is disheartening. It's ridiculous. It's provocative. And it all comes down to managing the economy in the total management structure of the Nigerian economy. The government can claim that, if we are going to accede to labor's demand for a minimum wage of over 600,000, we don't have the funds to be able to afford it. But it boils down to economic management. It boils down to allocation of resources. The government of the day has not shown that it has the capacity to manage resources, or that it doesn't have resources to allocate to critical sectors of the economy that has direct impact on the life of Nigerians. Like the other time we spoke about the Lagos Calabar super highway.
Yeah, okay.
Government has about 16 trillion to allocate to that project, a project that was not budgeted for. So where is government mopping up funds to be able to do that?
But Dr. Austin, okay,
when people make references to such projects, it means government can mop up funds to pay a living wage to the Nigerian workers. About a month ago, the Edo State government announced a minimum wage of 70,000 naira for its workers.
Yeah,
we expect that the federal government should be able to beat that. But a state government is offering 70,000 and the federal government is offering 78. How do you reconcile that? It doesn't make sense.
All right.
We expected that since the Edo State government has set the ball rolling, the federal government to be able to match and possibly exceed what the Edo State government is doing. But to now offer that paltry amount, I believe Labour did the right thing by walking away from that negotiation table.
All right. Well, let's put a peg to our thoughts right now. Go pay some bills. We will be right back with Eagles Outlook right here on Eagles FM Abuja. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja. You're the God who answers prayer.
Christ Embassy Ministry Center Abuja presents Day of Bliss with highly esteemed Pastor Obi Chiemeka. Date Saturday, May 18th. Time 4 p.m. Taking place at the following venues: Indoor Sports Hall, National Stadium, Abuja; LEA Primary School by 3rd Avenue, Gwarimpa; Christ Embassy Karo Crusade Ground, Plot 501, Jikoyi Integrated Layout, Karo; Berger Football Field, Berger Bus Stop, Lugbe. For more enquiries, call 081-8171-1204. That is 081-8171-1204. God bless you.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But I
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NATIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Hi there. Do you want to know how to get the correct approval or documents for your land and property? Do you need the right information on how you can prevent your building from being demolished? Then tune in to Town Planning Program on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja every Thursday by 4:30 p.m.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio.
Eagles 102.3.
Still reaching out to your sensibilities right there. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And yes, we give you an audiovisual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. You can get across social media platforms and see that we have a strong presence on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X at Eagles FM Abuja. Especially YouTube, subscribe, and on Twitter, give us a following right there and see what's going on in the studio. And finally, of course, our YouTube, Facebook page wall. You could as well give us a like, give us a following, and also see what's going on in the studio. Let us grow together, and we're still talking matters that border around the fact that Nigerians only want to have a good life, just a good life. Nigerians are not asking for so much; they're only demanding. We're only demanding for better living standards, and we've seen how all of these, is ongoing within the political space, and the conversation, how it is going sideways, front, back, left, right, center, and all of that. But then let's get on to something where I'm sure that one of our callers had earlier reiterated, and that is something that should bother us somewhat. Dr. Austin, there is this thought that says that, look, when we had the 30,000 naira minimum wage, how many people were even earning it? How many people were paid this 30,000 naira as minimum wage? And the federal government is even talking 48,000 naira, and the labor has decided to bail out from that meeting. Question again would be, even if the salaries were 48,000 naira as minimum wage, how many organizations will even pay or can pay the 48,000 naira, as minimum wage? How many Nigerians will even earn it, even if they were employable, right? And then you might also want to consider the flip side of it. The flip side of it, again, is the fact that, hey, how would this impact economically? right? Would it even allow for goods to come down, or would it allow the market forces to say, you know what, since take for example, let's just say for example, the minimum wage is for 100,000 naira now. Do you think that some of these goods that have shut up, would indeed come down at all? Right? And the last angle would be the place of what I would like to call the labor, those who have not been captured, within the labor force somewhat. Yeah. How would this impact them? Yeah. Overall, what's your stance on it?
Let me start from your last question.
Yes.
The fact that some people will say it's just about 2-3% of the Nigerian population that are employed by government at the national and subnational level.
Right.
The vast majority of Nigerians are in the informal sector, not the public sector. The point is this: government in Nigeria, because of the level of development of our economy, government is everything government does has a direct impact on the private sector.
Okay.
If the private sector, if those working, in fact, the point I'm trying to make is that wage remuneration at the private sector level is often determined by what is happening at the federal level. If the federal government is insisting that the minimum wage should be 48,000, then it is justifiable when those in the private sector insist that, look, your federal government is paying XYZ as minimum wage. We cannot pay more than what the federal government is paying. So the federal government has a critical role to play.
Right.
The federal government has power to determine wage increase in the private sector.
Okay.
If the minimum wage at the federal level or by government is a wage that actually takes the Nigerian worker, a living wage that takes the Nigerian worker home, then those in the private sector will be forced to do a review of what they are paying their workers.
Okay.
You cannot put pressure on those in the private sector to increase wage for their workers when the federal government is failing in its responsibility and duty, to its own workers. So that is the point, and that is the argument. The federal government should lead the way. Then those in the private sector will follow, and where they fail to follow, they will now have that moral, or Nigerians will now have that moral right to call them to order. As it is now, if I am in the private, if I'm employing people in the private sector and I'm paying them even 50,000 as minimum wage, the federal government or anybody cannot come and say, "Oh, you are paying your worker meager salary." I will tell them, the next thing I will ask you, what's your federal government paying? I'm already paying more than what your government is paying. So I'm paying better than your government. So that is the argument.
What about the argument
when you say, look, the federal government should be able to give workers a living wage, something that takes them home.
Okay.
And give them a living at the end of the day.
Right. Let's peg to your thoughts. Take this call. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, Mr. Duarte.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning to you, please. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. My regards to your.
What's your name? What's your name, please?
Yes, I'm calling from Nasarawa.
What is your name? Okay, taking me.
Yes, Mr. Duarte, your guest.
Oh, come on, taking me. Do well to call back. We just lost that call right there. Hello. Good morning.
Yes, my barrister, good morning.
Good morning to you, Passenger.
Thank you. God bless your heart.
Bless you too, man.
All the family of Eagles FM, God bless your heart. We keep fighting till we get that freedom for Nigerians.
Exactly.
All of us.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, let's go straight to it, Passenger.
He talks about the minimum wage. You see, they have do us wayo. Plenty wayo. Wayo, they will bring a soko to the poor man, that they said all the buses they will bring after removal of subsidy. Buses will be available for students, for workers, for the individual, for the company, is up to date. That wayo, number one. Number two, they said, okay, after the subsidy, we'll provide SOCO to the civil servants. They will give like 6 months palliative for civil servants. But up to date, that is wayo number two. Wayo number three, they said our increment of salary, the civil servants, they will do it in 3 months. This is 1 year now. This is the last wayo, and I don't think that Nigerians, all this wayo, all these people, they do us. I don't know whether we wake up from our slumber. Why? Because we have a lot of them that will even call in this platform and be telling us the government is trying. The government is trying. I don't know. The government is trying in their home, but not our home, not Nigerian home. Why? Because we have a lot of big issues.
All right, Obasanjo. Yeah, all right, Obasanjo. Understood. Thank you so much, Obasanjo, for that one. Taking yet another call. Hello, good morning. All right, can you please help me speak into your phone so we can hear you correctly?
Yes, I am speaking into my phone now. Yes.
All right.
Good morning to you. My name is Omotayo, reaching you from Galadima.
All right, Omotayo, welcome aboard.
A very big good morning to your guest. I really love him. I love his analysis.
Right.
He has spoken my mind more than enough. But I want to just chip this in. You see, I have said this before and I'm saying it again. The government the federal government and the state government of this country, Nigeria, currently, they are not there to represent the people. Of course, they show the time to that number that they don't represent the interests of their people. Rather, they are there for their own personal pocket. Because it has proven itself time without number. All the promises they gave from day one, how many have they fulfilled? Just like my brother,
Obasanjo, yeah.
Obasanjo for Amale. How many have they fulfilled? For God's sake, they promised CNG buses till tomorrow. It has not. Look, they are enormous of it. This government is not in power. They are not on seat to represent the people. Of course, they are representing themselves. So, what we have to do to change or to correct these menace is to just vote them out of the system completely. They've been in power for over 30-something years. See, today they are still the one holding power in the legislature, in the Senate, in the House of Reps, in the judiciary. They are just everywhere.
All right.
To vote them out for
all right, Omotayo.
Effective change in this country.
All right, Omotayo. Thank you so much. Omotayo is bringing the place of voting them out in times of when it's time to exercise your right to vote, right? Be wise in your voting system and voting culture. Well then, Dr. Austin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I mean, you've heard Nigerians with talking, but then there has been some things that the president has taken as 2 steps. And notable decisions. One of such would be the cabinet formation, where he constituted a 45-member cabinet comprising ministers who came from various political parties and technocrats to drive his administration's agenda in terms of economic reforms. For government has introduced some policies aimed at boosting economic growth, and one of such as some quarter of Nigeria would say is the subsidy removal on fuel, current reform, and measures to increase foreign exchange earnings, infrastructure developments too. There's been some administration prioritizing. Well, there's been the prioritizing of infrastructure projects, including road construction, rail expansion, and power sector improvements. Are you also saying that there is nothing that we could indeed say that we are seeing as progress? I mean, for the 1 year of the president at the time, this may not be the day to really have that conversation, but would you say there's not been any sort of positivity injected into the Nigerian society?
Whatever progress government is making, it will reflect on people's life. If I look at my life and those around me, in the last 1 year of this administration, there's nothing I will say has been progressive in people's life that is as a result of government policies and programs. What we'll see rather is a retrogression. We pray that no administration will be worse than what 8 years of Buhari brought upon this country. So we equally pray for this administration that let it not be that we will wish for a reverse. Let's reverse back to the Buhari era. Because 1 year, whatever technocrats, politicians, administrators, he has brought as a team to come and help him chart the course of the development of this country. And whatever policies and programs the government has implemented in the last 1 year, an average Nigerian, 99% of Nigerians are likely going to tell you that their lives today is worse off 1 year after since the coming into government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. My life is worse and poorer than I was a year ago, than I am today. What is the exchange rate today? Let's use that as a benchmark. What's the exchange rate today? And like I always say, food. What's the cost of food in the market today compared to about a year ago? And what is the hope that the next 1 year, what is the inflation rate? What is the hope that the next 1 year will be better? We don't see. There's no clear-cut chart that the current administration is leading us anywhere. They come up with one policy today, tomorrow there's a reversal. It's as if this is a government of trial and error.
All right, let's
try one policy is not working, jump to another one.
Let's look at this.
The next one when it's not.
Yeah, let's look at this.
Chart. Development has not been charted by this administration.
Okay. Let's look at this message right here via the WhatsApp portal. It says, "My brother Udwak Daniel, of a truth, the government is not sincere in their policy. They don't have the interest of both the workers and the entire citizens at heart. Do they go to the markets at all? Do they really know the plight of Nigerian people at all? For 1 year, we have been hearing is promise upon promise as if they are doing campaign. Please, the government should wake up to the reality on ground. Nigerians are in pain and suffering." The cleric who also visited the president had also made the same, telling the president that, look, the hardship, it's real. Now it behoves on the president to look inwardly and see to it that these things are indeed addressed. And then it also brings to mind, who are the people who are around the president advising him? I mean, who are these people? Are they really Nigerians? And if they are Nigerians, are they giving the right information to the president, to act upon? Well, I've got this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
This is Mr. Joseph calling from Nigeria.
Mr. Joseph, welcome aboard. All right, let's go straight to the point, Mr. Joseph.
Straight to the point.
All right, you left. Well, I guess network palaver and all of that. Well, you can keep the calls coming through 0907-353-0044. And of course, we're looking at the topical issue that bothers around the fact that Nigerians are calling on the president, calling on the presidency, calling on the federal government and saying that all we want is just demanding for better living standards. The other number is 0908-766-8888. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Odua.
Yes, good morning to you, please.
Elder
Onaja, welcome aboard.
You see, it's not the fault of the government. It's
right.
The fault of the Labour, the state government is so simple. Would the government do this type of thing to us? You see, they already instruct Nigeria. What to pay Plaza? You know, if the money politician pays in power a day, how much the salary of the local government chairman? A councillor taking up to 2.something million naira a month. A politician, they are very wicked people. I don't know how to describe them.
You can't say everybody is a wicked person now. Come on. Yeah.
See, they are not fair to us, my brother. A councillor taking 2.something million naira from government funds every month, and then you are telling me, say, the public servant to take it.
Hello, Elder.
It's so simple, that's why.
Okay.
And then to receive this government their government of Medeco. The trouble was when we are in the Babangida government. Trouble with Babangida saying, give me government. Is it the way they are going to control Nigeria?
All right.
Look, the inflation now, we want to die. This way this man came to government, that's nothing, 0 or 0, 0. Thank you very much.
All right, Elder Naja. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Austin, I'll get back to you, but let's just quickly take this call, and then you tell me your final thoughts on the matter and what you feel should be the way forward. How do we chart the way forward, in this discourse, especially now where the organized labor actually took a step backwards. In fact, they walked out on the federal government and said, look, you are not taken out seriously, and you are insulting the sensibility of the workers. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Elder Charles.
Elder Charles.
I'm calling you from Guarimpa.
All right, all the way from Guarimpa. Elder Charles, let's just do it for 1 minute.
Yes, I thought the Nigerians are enjoying a lot. I'm telling you. I will support this government. Over and over again. Just because it was our choice.
Right.
We made the choice. We will live with it. We will eat with it for the next 4 years.
Okay.
My brother, I bought 5 pieces of mango for 1,000 naira. Small mango. First time in Nigeria. God bless Baba Tinubu. Thank you.
All right, Elder. Thank you so much right there. All right. And Dr. Austin, I'd like you to put an icing on the cake.
Yeah, whatever policy, like I said, whatever policy program or charting a policy direction for a country should be people-centered. People should be at the heart of all government policies.
Right.
Removal of fuel subsidy was not at the heart, was not a people-oriented policy. Floating of the Naira was not a people-oriented policy. It was just a policy to satisfy Western imperialist, agenda, as exemplified by the IMF and the World Bank.
Right.
And I think now the government need to come back and say these 230 million Nigerians brought me to power, and my focus should be on how to alleviate their sufferings, how to make life better for them.
Okay.
That should be the purpose
of
government. In other words, we need to begin to look inward to solve our problems based on equity, fairness, and justice. Government should to give the Nigerian worker a living wage. 48,000 has been proposed is not a living wage.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Austin Maho, for your thoughts. On this, 48,000 naira proposed is not a living wage, and it does not go in line with what the president had promised the Nigerians. And you are a lecturer, you're a public affairs commentator, you're a publisher, Daybreak Nigeria newspaper. Thank you for your time with us. We look forward to having more conversations with you in the coming days.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure.
Right. Okay, so that's it. And let me see. I've got a message right here. Okay, I'll just take this message and let's see how we can squeeze it in. All right. This one is coming from... I've got to be fast with this now. Okay, so it says, good morning, Daniel. Good morning to you. I'm listening from Nasarawa State. All right. I greet your guest. This administration started failing from the day one, and I'd expected the president to have corrected his mistake, but that's not happening. Remember, the president only has 3 years out of 4. The 4th year is for campaign one. First year of Tinubu is president is characterized by hunger. More insecurity declined in purchasing power. More Nigerians thrown into poverty, frustration in the faces of common Nigerians. In fact, it's looking like no hope. Tekenbi Hundu, you've got that to say. Well, we'll just also thank you, Tekenbi, by the way, and to each and every one of us that have put a call out there. I mean, it seems as though the NLC is garnering some support, even though some of previously it said that the NLC seemed to be a toothless lie. iron. But then it seems as though some persons are beginning to say that, all right, maybe, just maybe, the NLC is beginning to make some point in this regard. But what we would canvass for would be for a better living, standard, better living or wage, for Nigerians. And that's just what it is. It is critical, for us to look at these issues. And it is also very pressing to understand the fact that the government's response to these concerns will have significant implications for the country's economic reforms, social and political development. Well, it is also essential for the government to engage with citizens, labor unions, civil society organizations to addressing these concerns and ensure a better future for Nigeria. Well, this is where we put a peg to it. Tomorrow is yet another day. Martha will be up top of the hour 10 on the AM side for the Midday Extra show. My name is Udwak Daniel. Don't tune off.